to answer that question, I've been having a
Let's
hello
back up
everyone.
and ask the question
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah.
um, hello. So I was asking before we went live, and we always do this. So great job on the pause. So I was asking, just how was your? So you've been updating the thumbnail SEO, some of that stuff, rather than just going straight to live. So I was asking how your views have been since you made that switch.
So on the Semper Ruck side, I'm probably going to surpass the views on the Semper Ruck side for the few videos that I have. Then
Mm-hmm.
my real estate side, um, probably within the next few months. And I think what I account that mostly to, yes, I think the SEO stand. I think doing the videos and then doing the blog for it, and then everything else doing it for distribution. I think it's the topic. I think that rucking is
Yeah.
a unique topic that doesn't have a whole lot of. It's definitely not the real estate side. Definitely not the real estate side. On the real estate side, the ones that I have done, they are getting more traction. It's just that it's the challenge that I have is having a full time job, doing the Semper Ruck, doing everything else, and
Yeah.
just finding that time. What I
I'm asking more
intend,
specifically about these videos that we're doing
well,
because I know
they're one and the
you're using
same.
Twitch.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
they're one and the same. So what I'm
Those are
doing
your real
is
estate
yeah.
videos.
Those are the real
Okay,
estate videos. These are
gotcha.
more conducive to, and actually not necessarily the real estate videos because I'm not doing anything per se specifically to the real estate community where it's more structured over leadership because a lot of the things that we talk about is not directly conducive to real estate agents, but more so a team leader, an operator,
Right.
an office manager. You know, someone. It's more
For the most
strategy,
part,
more business strategy.
totally.
How's it doing on your end? Because we do go live on your
Um,
site.
yeah, so I have not made any changes, adjustments. It's just been throwing it out there, going live. So I was more so curious about like what you've seen on your end because I know you mentioned that you were not going live and that you were uploading it, doing some SEO, and then publishing it. So it's on my end, the live. I mean, it's crickets, which is, I mean, I would assume that they would get some a little bit. I mean, I'm not distributing it. I'm not doing anything. I'm just leaving it as is. So obviously, if there was some effort put into it,
I think if you no,
it,
okay, so let me back up. So what I found
yeah,
is the description, the keywords, the title,
yeah,
hugely important because other than
right,
that, YouTube doesn't even know that you exist.
yeah.
And what I'm going to do with OpenClaw, I'm going to get that all set up this weekend and start messing with that. I envision that I'm going to be able to really start doing all this stuff that I don't have time, that I'm having a hard time having time for.
Yeah.
And if what it does is what I think it does, it's going to be able to really just take that whole automation. Anything that I could do with a virtual assistant,
Right.
my understanding is that it should be able to do all of that. So let's say 90%. I'm good with 90%.
I'll take 90% all day.
Yeah.
Twice on Sunday. Um, I have I have not gone full force on the open claw. Like I started, I got going, I put up infrastructure, and um, many times I usually have like a process where I'll like put something on my idea board, and if it's still there after like a certain amount of time, then I will put some effort into it. And the so I have not really dug in super, a ton on that front. I kind of just put a pin in it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let the let the dust settle a little bit, and then ultimately, really to just shorten my learning curve, where people will put out content and I can go follow along with somebody else's learning curve. to shorten
I
that up.
love the
So
fact that you had just said that, because one of the things I was just going to say is that if you give things 30, 60 days, you're going to have a ton of people posting on YouTube,
right,
and it's going to, like, if we would have started this a month ago, actually I think you did, but if you started a month ago, there's a lot of trial and error that you just have to go in and figure out, as
yep,
opposed to just going to YouTube, let someone do that 30, 60 for you, and then just follow
yeah,
their process. It's exactly what I'm doing.
yeah. So I took a step back for a moment and I kind of mapped out some key things that I wanted to do, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a breath. I'm gonna let it be. And do you see the dude sold to OpenAI for about $1 billion, and
Say
he's
that one
with them
again.
now?
He sold
The
OpenClaw to OpenAI.
uh-huh. Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so he was being he was getting offers from Zuckerberg and OpenAI, and he ended up going with OpenAI. I don't I don't know all the details to it, but I think it was the way that he was, from what I did get, was his like they had the infrastructure to essentially like he felt like they were a better fit for him because from my understanding he's actually staying on with them, but a better fit for him to kind of like accomplish like what he envisioned it being.
So, OpenClaw founder Steinberger joins OpenAI. Open source bot becomes foundation. And we got the ads here. So, you know what? Instead of doing that, why don't we just go to X and let's just actually Grok.
There you go.
Tell me about OpenAI buying OpenClaw and what it means. See what that says. No. The amount of data that you can just consume in a fraction of a moment.
Yeah.
Love that. Fraction of a moment. OpenAI did not technically buy or acquire OpenClaw as a company or product. Instead, what occurred is Steinberger, the solo developer, joined OpenAI in a key role. This has been widely discussed in the AI community, with some headlines loosely describing it as an acquisition due to the strategic significance, though it's more accurately characterized as a high-profile talent hire. The open source AI agent framework. You know, I actually think that Elon is probably going to get this guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Poach him and
unlike traditional chatbots, the only response, unlike traditional chatbots, that only respond to text, OpenClaw is agentic. It reasons, plans. Okay, we knew that. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Okay, so here are some points that I moved too soon. Oop, wrong button. This underscores OpenAI's strategic pivot from primarily conversational AI towards more capable, action-oriented agents that can handle complex workflows autonomously. By securing Steinberger's expertise, OpenAI gains direct insight into one of the most innovative and rapidly adopted agent framework. True. The fact that OpenClaw stays open source rather than being closed or fully observed preserves community momentum while giving OpenAI influence through the sponsorship of Steinberger's involvement. And it highlights the intense competition for AI talent, where companies like OpenAI invest heavily in key individuals. Okay, so it's going to stay open source. Yeah. It's only a matter of time before X comes out with it, XAI comes out with something, before Anthropic comes out with something. I think it's just a moment of this. This is, like we've said in the past, this is a remake of the browser wars. And it's going much more rapidly than what the browser wars did, from what I recall. I mean, God, we were like single-digit numbers in age.
The like tidbit that I got or that I saw in this too, it was from the creator, and he was talking about how the big shift will be from apps, individual apps, to more of this. So rather than like you checking your calendar, running your email, like you no longer will need to like go to your Gmail or go to your calendar, things like that. So it's like a shift from app based usage to um, the like an agent based approach where you're just talking and communication, where it's like doing the things that you know it needs to do, checking your schedule, scheduling your appointments, doing, so it's like I thought that was interesting from directly from him in regards to like how he saw uh, the bigger picture thing. So from like your browser war comment.
Elon Musk said something about that, if I remember correctly, on the Joe Rogan podcast, the most recent time. He's been there like 5 times, but the most recent one. And he talked about having his Starlink system accessible all around and then powered by AI, because he wants to put these massive connections, computers in space, because that solves the whole power and cooling part of it.
Right.
And he was saying, I can't remember the term that he used, but it's not going to be a traditional phone and apps as he sees it. It's not going to be the traditional phone with apps. It's going to be just everything. You're just going to your point, it's in alignment with what you had just said, with what this creator said, is that you're just going to have this personal assistant and you're just always going to have information. And it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It totally made sense to me when it's like, rather than like, taking your phone and like scrolling through the like different, the different slides of apps, you're just like, it's like your Apple Watch. You're just talking to it. You're like, hey, I need to do this, like blah blah blah. More of an approach.
That's what it is. So I just asked Grok what Elon Musk says. He says a shift to AI-centric edge nodes. What we currently call a phone will evolve into a lightweight device functioning primarily as an edge node for AI inference. This means that the hardware would handle local processing due to bandwidth and connectivity limitations while connecting to powerful cloud-based AI systems. The device would anticipate user needs and generate content in real time. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Go.
I'm game.
Yeah.
Oh, but then he also goes into it. Here goes the more wacky side of things. Integration with Neuralink and broader interface. Musk ties this evolution to Neuralink's brain-computer interfaces, suggesting that in a longer term, direct neural links would bypass physical devices entirely. Cyborgs. I wouldn't put it past him. He has fundamentally made science fiction into science fact. Like, I remember back in the day when we were young, you would do rockets and they would land like Flash Gordon. And he made that a reality.
Right.
Electric cars. He has the Boring Company. He's giving people the ability to move and use the computer with their mind. Wow.
Yeah.
So how are you going to use OpenClaw? Let's go there. Like, have you thought about any... Let me pause there. One of the applications that stuck with me after watching some of these videos, and I haven't watched all of them. Some of these videos are like 6 hours long. They walk you through the whole process. But one of them that I came across, the best use that he uses is a second brain. So whenever he comes up with an idea, he just sends it through OpenClaw and it just indexes it and memorizes it. Whereas when you're using the web interface or the app interface, whether it be with Anthropic, ChatGPT, I'm using a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I have a hard time remembering where I had the conversation with them at. And because they only memorize that chat stream,
Yeah.
now you have to go through and search where you actually had that conversation. And I think having that second brain, always keeping an account of the conversations that you have, to me, that's exciting.
I like that. Yeah, that's cool. For myself, I mean, I basically just took a process map of our like day to day stuff, and mostly it is to empower my team members to be more productive. Um, Current use case, right? Like, all right, what are we doing right now that could just be offboarded, where my team members could then use their time for that next layer of productivity. So really just cutting like it with some easy basic stuff that just is somewhat repetitive at the end of the day. So support, client fulfillment type stuff, and then moving from there, my 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 brain just goes right into more. Um,
Well, I
so
think
I'll probably shift to a sales and marketing approach after that.
so. For me, number one is that second brain. Need to have that. Need to have something that indexes the idea. You have an idea
Yeah.
board. There's a lot of ideas I think that gets lost. At least for me, there's a lot of ideas that get lost or I forget about, and they have to something has to come up to stir that memory again. But
Yep.
if I had the ability just to go into, say, WhatsApp, do a voice note, goes directly into, my station using
Yeah.
OpenClaw, I think that's great. But the second thing is going back to what you had asked me beforehand, to be able to create that content and have it just automatically put that through and just post things,
Yeah.
that's going to save me a tremendous amount of time, A, and B, it's going to really make things consistent. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going to miss anything.
Right.
Like for instance, we're going to be done with this podcast. Typically what I do is I take the file, I put that into Descript. I have to wait for it to transcribe, and then I have to take that transcription, I have to create that into a blog post, go do that. And so this whole process that would normally take me anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, because I always block out time. Normally I block out time right after this just to do that. But after this, I have to go, of late, I've had to go directly into other meetings. I speculate that I'm going to be able to automate the majority of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that will just take. I mean, there's some things that you could do now, but like from like that's. I guess at the end of the day, that's kind of like the whole idea where, hey, you just bought yourself an extra hour.
And we've already done that just in the last year. Just by
Right.
just by the process I have right now, how heavy
Yeah.
it is using AI.
Right.
Like I continue to buy myself more hours to reinvest into things. And now we're going to get Optimus robots, and now we're going to get self-driving cars, and like it's a
Yeah.
pretty cool time to be. It's a really cool time to be a Gen Xer, or right there in that development, because
I love
we've
that.
been
Yeah.
through the whole wavelength of this.
Dude, for real.
Now the
That's
challenge I think with OpenClaw, for a lot of people, and this is probably something that's really relevant to you and I, is that if for no other purpose to not get left behind, you've got to start getting in and fiddling with this. Because as rapid as this is being developed, there is a way that you're going to get left behind and not understand the whole fundamental of it. The only reason why I think that you and I can do what we do is because of the fact that we're Gen Xers and we got started into it at a young age. A lot of people of our age, they too have a hard time using a cell phone. Not everyone gets it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just to see where the next. me see. The average male lives until we're 80, 78 or something like that. I plan to live to 100. And with technology and everything, I think that that's going to be, it's not a question on if you can do it, it's if you can afford to do it. But I think that over the next 50 years, it's been a ride this last 50 years. It's going to be a ride the next 50 years.
Yeah. Very, very entertaining. I'm here for it. I love I love the live to 100 goal. It's respectable. I honestly have not put a ton of thought into total lifespan, but
Well, if there's that saying is that
every man lives two lives.
no, it's something along the lines of your written goals. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to get there pretty easy. And my whole thought is, look, I could go out and get hit by a car tomorrow. There's a whole lot of accidents, but barring from random accidents and just living through old age, I intend to stay alive for till I'm 100, at least 100.
I love it.
And
I love that.
and I think that what I've done,
At least.
at least, and I think with modern technology, modern medicine, as it continues to advance, and combine that with healthy living, the whole Semper Ruck. Dude, I genuinely believe if I would not have done what I did with rucking, my dad just got both his knees replaced, and you start looking at the baby boomers, and I've with the level of the aching joints that I had and the cracking and the grinding of my knees, there's no doubt in my mind that that was in my future. So now it's just taking care of yourself. Now we might have a war that takes out all of us well before then. Did you see that Donald Trump is going to release everything that they know about UFOs and extraterrestrial life?
I did not see that.
Go to X, it's all over the place, and then when you go into the comments, it's all about taking the attention away from the Epstein files. So, and let's see what Grok has to say.
Oh gosh. Look, unicorn.
Let's go here and I just said, tell me about ETs and UFOs. And it says, the recent development involves, Obama came out and said in a podcast that he believes aliens are real. And then the order is for agencies to start the process of reviewing and preparing files for release. Reports indicate a phased approach may be used, with initial steps involving inventory of records, potentially late February to March. I think, going back to the time that we live in, that's nuts.
Yeah.
What do they got? And indeed, that will take attention. You let us know that there's been extraterrestrials visiting the planet for hundreds, if not thousands of years. That's going to take attention from everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I have a lot of thoughts on that at the moment.
Well, we put it here first, so we might have continuing thoughts on it downstream. Yeah. I'm putting together a new training that has to do with AI and technology. I'm going to be going on the road. I got six things I got to plan for in various different parts of the country in person. And my thought process is, because it's going to be a keynote, so it's going to be an hour. And what they wanted me to do was AI fundamentals. And my response was, we're beyond that. That was like prompting. We don't need to teach anybody prompting. In fact, all you have to do is ask AI to prompt something for you, and it's going to be a better prompt than anything else. If anything, the only thing you need to teach people is to instruct AI to ask you one question at a time. That's
Right.
the big thing. But
Here's what we need to do now.
yeah, the audience is going to be real estate agents, and so the focus is what are the top 5 things that you need to implement now using AI. And I'm going to build that around lead generation, lead conversion, going down that whole road with OpenClaw, creating content. That's relevant to any industry. Yeah. So I'm going to do that whole workflow. What do you think? Anything that comes to mind?
An hour. A keynote hour. In my experience, something like that, like usually what I'll do if I have people's attention for an hour and I'm trying to teach them something, I usually try to leave them and I'm not asking for money at the end, right? I usually try to make sure that there's one actionable takeaway that they can implement that day and see some sort of tangible results. Because and the reason being is they can then take that, find some success, and they associate that success instantly with you in that moment, and it just creates that connection.
Well, from the get-go, even now,
yeah,
it is, and this is kicking a dead horse with you and I. It is mind-boggling how many people don't have their own domain, their named domain. They don't have a website. If they do have a website, there's no landing page on it. There's no way to collect leads. They don't have offers. It's mind-boggling that it is genuinely mind-boggling that people are still doing the traditional form of lead generation, even though the efficiency and the effectiveness continues to dwindle. It's mind-boggling.
Well, we are not in the 80% attrition rate,
Very, very fair. All right. Well, look, I'll end with this. I had a conversation with, I was in San Antonio. I had to go to San Antonio, literally 24 hours, kicked the crap out of me. But one of the managers of an office took me to the airport, and I was just talking to him, and we're talking about certain things. I'm like, look, in the conversation, I said, if agents are going to door knock, then you know what? Make sure it's effective. And when 9.9 people don't answer the door, have them pitch the doorbell.
Yeah,
I'm like,
love that.
If you're going to show up anyways, and you're going to do the time, take the 30 seconds, practice your script, and pitch the doorbell to promote your open house. That'll at least get watched.
Yeah. It's
genius.
All
right, brother. Well, we're at time. Got to go to another meeting. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to upload this, transcribe it, and get it up.
Let's get it. Have a good one.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Rock and roll.